Boxingego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing, and I'm enjoying myself. Saturday, May 20th, there's a lot of boxing. I just watched all the Showtime fights. I did a post-fight Andre Darrell's uncle or somebody sucker punched Katagi. Now he's being looked at and wanted by the laws. I just watched Gary Russell Jr. I want to give my post-fight thoughts. Good fight, very fun fight. This was Gary Russell's mandatory, so it was an obligation. Round one, Gary Russell Jr. easy. Hand speed on full display. I personally think Gary Russell might have the fastest hands in boxing. There's other people like Amir Khan, but Gary Russell, it's not just speed. Like when I look at Amir Khan, sometimes his arms are fast, but they look more flailing to me. Like he's not like committal to each punch. Gary Russell has fast hands, but he's also committing. And if that 1, 2, or 3 hits you, you could possibly get hurt if you're in this division, right? So very fast hands. His uppercut throughout this whole fight was literally retarded. He was hitting OSCAR ESCANDON with vicious uppercuts. Tough as nails from Colombia, trained by Robert the Ghost Guerrero's dad, Ruben. He showed massive heart. OSCAR ESCANDON showed massive heart. And I said Gary Russell Jr.'s hand speed is retarded. Landed bombs, consecutive uppercuts. I love how his left hand guard is so high going to the body. Now, like the left hand being high, very fundamentally sound. So some guys who are power punchers, they don't really care about fundamentals. You know what I mean? Some guys are either they're just naturally gifted in the power department, so they take full advantage of that, and they don't really care about technique. They just know if they bully their opponent or endure whatever their opponent dishes out and hit them with something, then they have a shot. Gary Russell has power, clearly. He has power on both hands. I've seen him hurt guys with his left. He's a southpaw. Also hurt guys with his right hand. And he has that fundamentals down, right? Beautiful body work also throughout the fight by both fighters, but Gary Russell Jr., the winner. And I said both fighters going crazy to the body in round 2. Escandon, very tough. He has big calf muscles, good for generating power. If you know anything, like look at Pacquiao's calf. Pacquiao got huge calves, and we know Pacquiao has a punch also. So just to give you guys a run of the mill, I don't really have anything bad for Gary Russell's performance. I normally try to give you guys the good, the bad, and the ugly, and I don't really have anything bad to say about OSCAR ESCANDON. He showed massive heart even when he was hurt. I said, oh my God, I think it was round 3. Yeah, round 3. Russell, and it's on my Instagram. You guys can check it at Boxingego. Russell, he hit ESCANDON with some sneaky, fast ass right hand that just dropped him, and his legs just did the Tootsie Roll and instantly hit the canvas. And I was like, wow, I didn't, you know what I mean? You almost don't see it like about to occur or anything, just like bow out of nowhere. So that's why I put this. I was like, oh my God. But credit to ESCANDON, he was tough. And I said ESCANDON definitely tough. He had no legs, hurt early in the round, and he survived the Gary Russell round 3 onslaught. Now, the thing that was challenging and interesting for me as a boxing fan, just someone who watches all these fights and stuff and covers it, is Gary Russell, by far, the first 3 rounds, if they showed you nothing else, it showed you he was the better fighter, technically. But it doesn't always equate to a victory, you know what I mean? You could be, I've seen Broner, to me, is technically more sound than Maidana, but Maidana used what he does well, improved his jab, he has power, he's bigger than Broner, and he used those things, point blank, period. So it's not only technique. You can overcome someone who's athletically faster than you and stuff. You just have to negate it with the right thing. So the thing that was interesting to me is, would Gary Russell do like Anthony Joshua, have his man that hurt and his opponent be so tough where he survived round 3 and he survived round 3 and then he's still there. You know what I mean? You guys can get discouraged. You can get frustrated. Like, damn, Johnny Gonzalez was out of here when I hit him with that shot. And this OSCAR ESCANDON dude is still here, still trying and still bouncing. And actually, a lot of people, Showtime had the fight shut out for Gary Russell. Maybe I'll watch the round again, but I actually gave the round after he got knocked down in round 3, I gave round 4 to Oscar Escandon. And it wasn't just because he showed mad heart. I was in the middle of posting on Instagram too, but I don't give rounds off heart, just FYI. It was because he was going to the body and he came out aggressive, and it looked like he got his legs somewhat back. His legs look real bad in round 3 to me. But aside from that round, every round was Gary Russell. It was very easy to score, and then it ended and punctuated in the 7th round with the TKO victory. Now, let me talk about the TKO victory. Some people were upset, and some people hit me up on Twitter or Instagram, I forgot which one it was, and they say, oh no, that was a premature stoppage. But realistically speaking, you got to look at the fighter's health. Escandon was getting chopped up all fight. Look at these combinations. Like, these combinations are vicious. Shout out to Showtime. You see his leg right here buckling and then retreating. That, you got to look at boxing from a psychological standpoint also as the ref. Like, if you're looking at the ref, and the other thing, they showed it in slow motion from a better angle, and Harvey, the ref, was looking at it. He had a full view of everything that was happening and transpiring. So you could look at his eyes, not from this angle, but the better angle that Showtime had, the close-up angle. You seen his eyes look cloudy. Even when the fight was finally stopped, Escandon was very slow to respond to the referee and the fight being stopped. He was clearly getting hit with violent punches and out of it. I had no problem with this stoppage, not to mention that he had literally lost every round. And some people, I gotta watch it again, some people would have gave Gary Russell every single round. I gave Escandon round 4 because I thought he showed heart with an aggressive tack. He had an aggressive body tack, and I don't know if Gary Russell took a round off. He was still getting some shots off, but it was a good round overall for Escandon. And Steve Farhood was talking about a mercy round. I didn't look at it like that. I wasn't like being merciful. I mean, he just got stopped down, so I wasn't looking at it as a mercy round. I thought he did good work. But again, I can look at the CompuBox numbers and things like that. But I had no problem with the stoppage. He was all over the place. He was getting chopped up, chopped down, and at some point you got to look at how tough is your fighter, and they're not going to call it quits on themselves. They're going to just keep getting beat up and get back up, and then it's not a Rocky movie, you know what I'm saying? And you could look at the body language of him, and one thing that I look at is, look, he's like dipping down right when he's about to go to get punched. That's a red flag. You know what I mean? Why is he just dipping down? Like, you're just waiting for him to punch you. You know what I'm saying? You're not like trying to counter him. You're just in a completely defensive posture. You got to really look at that. Like, why Gary Russell's punch, look, he hasn't even thrown the punch yet. And you see Escandon dips down into the ropes. Like, don't hit me. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that body language. You deserve to be stopped if that's what you do. You know what I mean? Look, Gary Russell's cocking back and you just immediately cowered down. That's like something a non-fighter would do. You know what I mean? If you're not trained to fight, or a fighter who's a pro fighter who's just badly hurt, you know what I'm saying? And you're not supposed to do stuff like that. You have to make the judgment. If you're that badly hurt to the point where anything he throws you feel is going to hurt you more, or knock you out, or knock you down, take a knee. But fighters don't want to do that. You know what I mean? So you put yourself at risk to get stopped, you know what I mean, by the ref. And that's just kind of how I see it. But the other thing I look at is when you have a known warrior type, a come forward guy, and they're retreating like that, it's not really a good sign. You know what I'm saying? If you know their fighting stance and how they fought the other rounds, and just them as a fighter, you know their MO, and then you see them just retreating, that's really not a good idea and a good sign. You know what I mean? Just cowering down, you're gonna get stopped. And if you don't want to, then you have to make better executive decisions, clinch. You have to punch back or take a knee or something, you know what I mean? But I thought it was a fair stoppage. He was getting chopped up, hit with violent body shots, sick ass uppercuts, and it was a great, successful defense of his WBC featherweight title against his mandatory. You know what I'm saying? And again, this wasn't, I would really like to watch Oscar Escandon again. He showed heart. It just, there's levels, you know what I mean? There's a different level of skill and speed and athleticism. And again, you can overcome those things, but he got hurt early, and he wasn't getting the best of most of the rounds and most of the exchanges. So it was just kind of an uphill battle. But he can give other guys at featherweight a run for his money. Like, you know what I mean? I just styles make fights. I would love to see him fight a guy like Oscar Valdez. You know what I mean? There's a lot of featherweight fights. Post-fight, Gary Russell said he might move up to 130 to bully some of the bigger guys. He says he wants to unify Lee Selby. He wants to fight with Abner Mares, Leo Santa Cruz. I would love that. Leo Santa Cruz and Gary Russell fought in the amateurs. So I just hope he's active, because he's an impressive fighter when he's fighting. He's showing you the technique. He has the mean streak. Look at his face, like you know what I'm saying? He was landing some shit in there. That's all I know. And he has that dazzling hand speed, man. He's technically sound, but he's still offensive. So he's kind of like the best of both worlds. Me personally, this is the style I love, like technical punchers, like boxer punchers, like Canelo's, the Gary Russell, guys that have power, but they don't just rely only on power. They're setting up shots. They're not just like trying to maul you and no defense, or they're, you know what I'm saying, just a punching bag, walking head first. You know what I mean? That's cool, but I don't get my thrills in boxing off of that. I like, my ideal style of fight is when I see two guys who are thinkers with power or good attributes to offset the other person, and then they're both giving it everything. And this made for a very fun stylistic fight. Gary Russell had the athleticism, the hand speed on the side, but you look at Escandon, very rugged, didn't want to give up, you know what I mean? Didn't want to quit, good body work, but you just can't walk into shots and expect to go the distance with elite level fighters winning their upper, like literally, I think there was one sequence in one of the rounds Gary Russell hit Escandon with 4 uppercuts. That's dumb. That should never happen to anybody. You know what I'm saying? You have to find a way around that. Even if you have to like tie him up or something, you know what I mean? You got to find something to circumvent that. But very good performance by Gary Russell Jr. I just hope we get him back in the ring ASAP, because he's the goods. You know what I mean? Oh my God, that was a knockdown, man. You see the comments, the speed is scary. That just out of nowhere, and you just sat him down like that. And again, I told you guys about Escandon's calves. A lot of power is generated from calves, and a lot of people feel like stronger legs. Like you're born with the chin that you have, but at the same time, if you have strong legs, that's your base. You know what I mean? And he just dropped him with one violent shot. Great stuff from Gary Russell. Let me know your thoughts. That's my post-fight breakdown. Shout out to Showtime, man. They're getting it done with these cards. Now I guess they have a poll. Who do you want to see Gary Russell fight next? Vasyl Lomachenko, Lee Selby, Abner Mares, Leo Santa Cruz. I would like any of these fights, to be honest. Vasyl Lomachenko, I think Gary Russell can definitely do better in the rematch. I don't know if he could beat Lomachenko, because Lomachenko has a different style, but he's a hell of a talent. Lomachenko's a hell of a talent, but Gary Russell seems to improve since his loss, just like Lomachenko. You know what I mean? Lomachenko lost to Salido and seems a lot better. And Gary Russell, since his loss to Lomachenko, seems a lot better. So, and he's a champion now. Let me know what you guys think. Abner Mares. You know what, to be honest, Abner Mares, Leo Santa Cruz, I don't have to watch that rematch right away. I would rather see one of those guys fight Gary Russell, to be honest. You know what I mean? And him and Abner Mares, they share a mutual opponent. Johnny Gonzalez knocked out Abner Mares in a round or two, and Gary Russell knocked out Johnny Gonzalez in a few rounds. So that, you know what I mean, that's a cool backstory. They both have that mutual opponent, completely different outcomes. And then, like I said earlier, Leo Santa Cruz, he's fought and lost to Gary Russell in the amateurs. Let me know what you guys think. Drop it in the comment section. Make sure you share the video, like the video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.